weeks of health program. I mean, I will be at half time when I finish that week. That is kind of crazy. Now time flies by and I cannot believe that I soon will be in Spain hiking for several weeks and not doing anything else than walking, eating and sleeping. I'm so excited and I really try to take really good care of myself. I'm really trying to prevent any injuries. I'm so afraid I could get an injury. And now that the weather has changed in Norway and that you can go on hikes again. Well, I went on a hike yesterday. You might saw in my last video. Unfortunately, there's still quite some snow in the forest. So there were several trails that were quite slippery. And one time I got stuck in the snow and then I got so much snow in my shoes and it was so cold, it hurt so much. Yeah, so I knew I had to return and I will try again. We'll see what kind of trail I will choose this week, but I have 2 trails that are definitely snow free that are good for like shorter walks, like 5 or 6 kilometers. So I think I will start with them during the week, 2 of them, maybe on Wednesday and Friday. That's kind of like my plan. And then on Sunday or Saturday, I definitely want to do a longer hike depending on the weather. So now let's take a look into my weekly planning. I'm aiming for 80% of my habits, that I managed to do 80% of them in my habit tracker, which I think is quite okay. I think I haven't told you that I added 2 habits last week. That was a solo date night again once a week and learning Spanish. And I think I will do a course with bubble.com and I think I'll stay with 5 minutes per day, which is not much, I know, but I still have to get into the habit of actually doing it. I think I can't increase it yet. So yeah, that's kind of like on the side, not depending on these goals that I have actually here. And as you remember, I have like 3 goals in this 16 weeks of health. One is becoming 60% securely attached. Second one is to be physically prepared for pilgrimage in Spain, which will be almost 900 kilometers long. And I also want to become an intuitive eater. So for the first goal, I want to work on shadow work, which is kind of interesting. Shadow work is the idea of that things that trigger you in others are usually something that you have in yourself, but in any kind of like way suppressed. And because you have learned maybe in childhood that you can't be that kind of thing, so maybe because you have learned in childhood that you can't show this side of you and you will not receive love, for example, or it's not acceptable. There could be things like being arrogant or selfish or greedy, all kind of like a lot of like these negative traits. And then it's also the opposite. If you find somebody extremely attractive, or there's a certain thing that you think like, wow, he or she is so amazing, she's doing this and that, I wish I could do that. Often when it's so big, it's usually something that you already have in yourself. You just don't show it to the world. And in shadow work, you can learn to kind of like include these things in your soul, like accepting that you might be arrogant in some ways, learning that if somebody else is extremely good in listening, that you might be that too. How can you practice that, showing up yourself that you're a good listener, for example? So I have already done the shadow work at the personal development school and I kind of like learned the process of doing it. So I will try to focus on these things this week to, if something triggers me, looking at where there might be a shadow. But I also want to read a book that I know is very in the similar way. It's called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. It is probably one of the most woo-woo book titles I've ever read, and I have to say I would have never chosen it if I hadn't like read it somewhere that it is recommended, because it sounds so strange. I have to admit that. And I remember I read a part of it, so I'm really looking forward to read this book. And then when it comes to training, I'm planning on training 4 times this week. So 3 of them should be hikes, and then I will definitely go to my dance class, I think, and then we'll see if I want to do something. I'll tone it up. The bikini series, we'll see. I don't have like goals in that. I just want to do as many hikes as possible. But obviously, if it's raining all week long, I will stay inside and do the bikini series instead. And dreaming myself away into summer, sunshine, and beach vibes. And then for intuitive eating, my plan is to continue or maybe even finishing the chapter Make Peace with Food in my intuitive eating book. That's kind of like the only thing I'm planning on for intuitive eating. But that's the plan for this week. I actually have to tidy up a bit and do vacuuming before my friend Melina is coming. She's gonna stay here for the night and I'm really looking forward to it. We can watch Friends together and yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I think I see you all a bit later. It's already Saturday. I've had a very productive week so far. I mean, I did almost all my habits and learned some Spanish and I did several workouts. Weather has been awful for the past days. Today it's quite okay, but I have to say it's now like 2 months until I will go on the Camino in Spain, and I kind of start feeling a bit, I already feel behind. I don't know why, but I feel like there's so much happening before that I have to change, have to do, yeah. And I have to train a lot, and even though, and usually May is also a time where a lot of things happening, like actually my house sister is visiting me, I have a race, yeah, and it's also a time where people celebrate things, and I have to get the house ready because I try to sublet it. I want to train a lot. I also want to learn some Spanish, and I think it's gonna be a lot. I think I have to work on like spending less time on Facebook and YouTube and everything and do more. And then of course I also have to look at my feet and be careful not to overdo it, train a lot but at the same time trying to prevent injuries, and yeah, I actually felt a bit overwhelmed yesterday, so I decided to create a plan for the next 2 months. Let me show you. Let me say right away, it looks chaotic. So this is May. We have the 1st of May tomorrow, no, in 2 days. First of all these days are my days off. And then these green flags mean that I can go on longer hikes, and also wrote down like what I've kind of like how many kilometers I want to walk. And then the darker green ones, which I think looks a bit more like blue in the screen, these are shorter walks, like 4 to 6 kilometers, which I will try to do. And then also wrote down where I have to edit things are happening, my sister's coming. Also gonna increase the time I do Spanish every day from 10 to 30 minutes within 1 month, and then in June I will just keep it like that. Yeah, and then also have all my daily things, planning the day. I try to work out like between 4 and 6 times until the end of June. Let me show you June. Hello June. Yeah, this is gonna be chaotic. Also wrote down when I want to edit all my videos because I have to edit some. Also when my sister's coming and different events. Yeah, it is a lot. And then in June you can always see I'm going on the Camino. Really looking forward to that.